You're sitting at the kitchen table. The cuff is on. You press start. The numbers appear. And in your mind, a quiet panic begins. Is it too high again? Should I take a pill? Should I call someone? But what if those numbers were wrong? Not because your body is failing, but because you're making small mistakes no one told you about. After 60, many people check their blood pressure daily, sometimes multiple times a day. It seems simple. Sit down, strap the cuff, push the button. But here's the truth most seniors never hear. How you measure your blood pressure can change the result, sometimes by 10, 20, or even 30 points. And if you're doing it wrong, you could end up with the wrong diagnosis, the wrong medication, or the wrong kind of fear. In today's video, we're going to talk about the 11 most common mistakes people make when measuring their own blood pressure at home and how to fix them. This is not just about tips. It's about protecting your health, your peace of mind, and your independence. Because getting an inaccurate reading can lead to unnecessary medications, anxiety and overmonitoring, false alarms at the doctor's office, or worse, missing a real warning sign when it matters most. If you've ever felt confused because your numbers keep changing, gotten high readings only at home or only at the clinic, or started to doubt your monitor, your method, or even yourself, then this video is for you. We'll break down which small habits distort your numbers, when you should ignore a reading, and when you shouldn't, and how to feel confident that your blood pressure results are real, accurate, and useful. It's not just about the number on the screen. It's about knowing when to trust it and when to check again. Let's begin. Measuring your blood pressure right after coffee, food, or smoking. Joe is 71. Every morning, he makes a cup of coffee, reads the news, and then checks his blood pressure. Some days it's fine. Other days, it's up by 20 points. He starts to worry. Is my blood pressure out of control? But the truth is, it's the coffee, not his heart. Caffeine, food, nicotine, even a big glass of cold water can temporarily spike your blood pressure. Caffeine, for example, can raise systolic pressure by 8 to 10 millimeters of mercury within 30 to 60 minutes. A heavy meal can increase circulation to the digestive system, creating slight pressure changes. Nicotine acts as a stimulant and constricts blood vessels, raising pressure as well. Checkmark what to do instead. Wait 30 to 60 minutes after any meal, coffee, or cigarette before measuring. Choose a consistent time when your body is calm, like mid-morning or late afternoon. Don't measure while sipping. Even holding a hot cup can affect arm position and muscle tension. Measuring right after physical activity or emotional stress. Helen is 68. She rushes around cleaning, then remembers, I haven't checked my pressure yet today. She straps on the cuff, hits the button, and the numbers are high again. Panic. She checks again. Still high. She considers taking an extra pill. What she doesn't realize, she just measured while her body was still recovering. Your blood pressure naturally rises during physical movement, even walking upstairs. Emotional spikes, stressful phone call, argument, or bad news, even after intense focus, paying bills, solving a problem, talking to the doctor. These spikes are normal, but if you measure during or right after them, you'll get a false reading and possibly make decisions based on temporary noise. Checkmark what to do instead. Sit calmly for 5 full minutes before measuring. Rest in a quiet room, feet flat, no phone, no talking. Breathe slowly. 3 deep breaths in and out can settle your nervous system. You're not just calming your body, you're giving your monitor a chance to tell the truth. Deeper truth. You don't need new pills. You need a quiet moment before you press the button. Your feet aren't flat on the floor. Frank is 73. He usually measures his blood pressure while sitting on his bed, feet tucked up or crossed. Sometimes on the couch, legs stretched out in front of him. It's comfortable, but his readings are never consistent. Why? Because posture matters more than most people realize. When your feet are not flat on the floor, your blood pressure can rise or fall by 5 to 10 millimeters of mercury. Crossing your legs or tucking your feet restricts circulation, activates muscles in the legs and lower back, triggers subtle tension throughout the body. All of this affects blood flow and the pressure your heart is working against. Checkmark what to do instead. Sit upright in a chair. Keep both feet flat on the ground, not on a stool or dangling. Don't cross your ankles. Let the body rest naturally and still. The more stable your posture, the more stable your numbers. Your arm is too low or not supported. Carol is 70. She wraps the cuff around her arm, places her hand in her lap, and hits the button. She's done this for years, but lately her numbers are getting higher. What she doesn't realize, her arm is too low, and that tilts the results. Your arm should be at the same level as your heart. If it's lower, like resting in your lap or hanging, the blood has to fight gravity, and readings come out higher. And if the arm isn't supported, muscles tense, even slightly, and that tension affects the reading. Even leaning forward to watch the monitor can cause your shoulder to lift and distort the result. Checkmark what to do instead. Use a table or a pillow to rest your arm at heart level. Sit comfortably with your back supported. Keep the cuffed arm still, relaxed, and open. Palm up, no fist, no tension. Think of it like tuning an instrument. You can't play a true note if the strings are pulled too tight or hanging loose. Deeper truth. A tense body can fake a high reading. A calm, supported one shows what's real. You put the cuff over your clothing. Linda is 69. She doesn't like the feel of the cuff directly on her skin, especially on cold mornings. So she puts it over her sweater sleeve, just for comfort. She thinks it can't make that much of a difference, but it does, sometimes up to 40 points. Thick fabric, wrinkles in the sleeve, or even tight clothing under the cuff can compress the arm differently, disrupt the sensor's ability to read artery pressure accurately, cause friction or tension under the cuff, triggering muscle response. The result? Unreliable data and decisions based on a false number. Checkmark what to do instead. Always place the cuff directly on bare skin. If needed, roll up your sleeve, but make sure it's not tight above the cuff. Never measure through long sleeves, sweaters, or layered clothing. If the cuff can't feel the artery properly, it can't tell you the truth. The cuff is too loose or too tight. George is 76. His cuff keeps sliding down, so he pulls it tight, very tight, to make sure it stays. Other times, he wraps it quickly without checking. Both ways distort the result, and can even damage the monitor over time. A too loose cuff leads to delayed inflation, overcompensation by the machine, artificially high readings. A too tight cuff restricts blood flow even before inflation, triggers muscle tension, can lead to pain or pinched skin, which raises stress and pressure. Checkmark what to do instead. Follow the 2 fingers rule. You should be able to slide 2 fingers between the cuff and your upper arm. Wrap the cuff snug but not tight. Make sure it's flat, centered, and 1 inch above the elbow crease. Most monitors include a diagram, but few people ever check it. Now's the time to double check. Deeper truth. A cuff that hugs just right tells the truth. A cuff that squeezes or slips creates confusion. You talk during the reading. Marvin is 74. Reyes. He checks his blood pressure while chatting with his wife in the kitchen. Let's see what it is today, he says. Cuff inflating. He glances at the screen and says, Whoa, that's high again. What Marvin doesn't realize is that his own words are raising the number. Even light talking activates your muscles, breath, vocal cords, and subtly, your stress system. The body reacts with increased heart rate, slight muscle tension, elevated systolic pressure. In fact, studies show talking during BP measurement can raise your numbers by 10 to 15 millimeters of mercury. Checkmark what to do instead. Be completely silent during the reading. From the moment you press start, don't even whisper or read aloud. Treat it like a meditation. Breathe, relax, and focus on being still. Silence isn't awkward here. It's accurate. You rush through the measurement or repeat it too often. Maria is 66. She checks her pressure 3 times in a row, just to be sure, sometimes 5. If the first number is high, she panics. If the second is lower, she celebrates, but she's confused. Which number is right? The answer? Maybe none of them. Rushing creates stress. Over-measuring creates tension. And tension, mental or physical, distorts your results. Your numbers become not a reflection of your health, but a reflection of your anxiety. Checkmark what to do instead. Measure once, calmly, properly. If it seems unusually high, wait 5 to 10 minutes, relax, and try once more. Never treat your monitor like a slot machine. It's not about winning the lowest number. And if you're checking more than twice a day, ask yourself, am I trying to control my health or manage my fear? Deeper truth. Your blood pressure doesn't just measure your body. It reflects your state of mind. Let's stop here. Have you ever talked during a reading and thought, it doesn't matter? Repeated the test again and again, hoping for a better number? Felt your heart race because of the reading, not your actual health? Type #5 inches in the comments if that's ever been you. Or just nod quietly. It means you're human. You only check when you feel bad. Teresa is 67. She measures her pressure only when she feels dizzy, nervous, or off. If the number is high, she panics. If it's low, she relaxes. But she never writes it down. The result? She has no idea what her normal looks like. Checking your blood pressure only during symptoms is like checking your car's oil only when smoke comes out of the hood. You don't get a pattern, you get panic. Your blood pressure is always changing, with time of day, posture, food, stress, weather. So unless you measure it regularly and calmly, you're only seeing the extremes, not the truth. Checkmark what to do instead. Pick 1 to 2 consistent times per day, e.g. morning and evening. Measure even when you feel fine. That way you'll know what your healthy baseline really is. Remember, patterns matter more than moments. You write down wrong or partial numbers. Gary is 75. He logs his pressure in a notebook, but sometimes forgets the diastolic. Other times he writes 122 and doesn't remember if that was systolic or the date. His doctor often says, "This isn't enough for me to go on." Recording mistakes are easy, especially when you're tired or distracted, but they can lead to misdiagnosis, unnecessary medication, or missing signs of dangerous trends. Checkmark what to do instead. Write down both systolic and diastolic numbers, e.g. 128/80 seconds. Include the time in context. Morning before food, after walk. Use a BP tracking app or calendar chart if you prefer visuals. And if you skip a day, that's okay. Consistency matters more than perfection. Cross mark. Mistake number 11. You panic over a single bad reading. Walter is 72. One morning, his pressure reads 148/94. He instantly panics. Am I having a stroke? He skips breakfast, takes an extra pill, calls his son, cancels his day. The next morning, 123/78. Blood pressure readings are snapshots, not full movies. One high number does not mean you're in danger, especially if it follows stress, poor sleep, or movement. Your blood pressure will naturally fluctuate throughout the day. That's normal. Checkmark what to do instead. Never base your emotions on one number. Take a second reading only after rest. Track trends over days and weeks. That's what really matters. Deeper truth. Your blood pressure may rise for a moment, but your reaction can raise it even more. You're not broken. You just needed better instructions. Mark is 70. He's been taking his blood pressure every day for years. He's seen it jump, fall, stabilize, and spike again. He's tried changing his diet, his meds, even the batteries in his monitor. But what no one ever told him is this. He wasn't doing it wrong because he was careless. He was doing it wrong because no one ever taught him the right way. That's the story for millions of seniors. They follow the instructions, but they never feel confident. They get scared by one high number. They panic and call the doctor. They get put on medication, or told to wait and walk away confused. But here's the truth. Your numbers aren't just numbers. They're data. And you deserve to know how to use that data with clarity, not fear. Let's remember what really matters. Checkmark. Check at the right time. Checkmark. Sit the right way. Checkmark. Wrap the cuff correctly. Checkmark. Stay calm, still, and silent. Checkmark. Don't rush. Don't panic. Checkmark. Track patterns, not one-off spikes. Because when you know how to measure correctly, you don't just get better results. You take back control. You stop overreacting. You stop guessing. You stop being afraid of your own health. You start knowing what's real. You start seeing your progress. You start trusting yourself again. Final truth. You're not fragile. You're just underinformed. But now, you know better, and knowing better changes everything. If even one of these 11 mistakes sounded familiar, you're not alone. This video wasn't made to scare you. It was made to empower you. Leave a comment below. Even just #6 inches. If something here helped you feel a little more in control, and if you want more real, honest, and helpful insights about life after 60, right finger subscribe to Speech Balloon Longevity Talks Herb. We don't just talk about aging, we talk about power, peace, and truth for your next chapter.